At the heart of this series lies a challenging, even unsettling idea that our reality, the world we think we know, this planet we call home, may in fact be a kind of prison. Not a prison of bars and walls, but of cycles, of manipulation, and of spiritual entrapment. Now, this is what I sincerely believe, until someone can prove otherwise. And good luck with that. Evidence to the contrary would have to be pretty convincing at this point. I have seen nothing so far which convinces me this reality is not a trap. As mentioned in my last video, this hypothesis is not new. I'm not bringing to you new ideas or concepts. I'm just trying to bind these old ideas and notions into a coherent story, framed in a modern language and through up-to-date concepts. But this narrative is found in ancient Gnostic texts, the mysticism of old philosophies, and more recently, in the testimonies of experiencers, remote viewers, and spiritual seekers who have dared to look behind the veil. Among those voices is Isabella Green, a metaphysical specialist whose two books, Leaving the Trap and Beyond the Trap, both of which I've read, attempt to not only illuminate the mechanics of this spiritual confinement, but to show us how to move beyond it. So in today's video, we begin our exploration of Green's work. But before we delve into the details, let's first remind ourselves what we mean when we say this planet is a trap. And what kind of escape are we talking about? Leaving the Trap is Isabella Green's response to one of the most pressing, if not uncomfortable, questions facing spiritually awake people. What if the afterlife isn't what we think it is, or what we're told it is? Green builds upon the soul trap hypothesis by suggesting that what many call the light at the end of the tunnel, the supposed path to heaven, reincarnation, or spiritual progression, is in fact a construct, an illusion, designed to keep us returning to Earth, lifetime after lifetime. According to Green, the system we're caught in is not natural. It's not an organic part of the soul's journey. It's been tampered with, co-opted. The Earth, in her view, and very much in line with my own, is a controlled environment, a closed loop. And the afterlife realm, the one that beckons so many with strong feelings of love, with the appearance of family members, and with false comfort, may actually be a kind of harvesting mechanism. Souls are lured back, recycled, their memories wiped, their wounds unresolved, and their awareness dimmed. This is the trap. In these books, Green explores the mechanics of this system, the entities that maintain it, the tactics used to manipulate us at death, and the agreements we unconsciously enter into that bind us to return. Many of these experiences are shrouded in love and light. But behind the veil, she suggests, is a deception so vast, it's been mistaken for salvation. But leaving the trap is not just about leaving the prison. It's also about reclaiming sovereignty. We've talked about the importance of this before. Green emphasizes the significance of self-awareness, spiritual autonomy, and conscious intent, especially at the moment of death. The timing is important. She offers tools and perspectives for those of us who wish to break the cycle and forge a different path, one of true freedom. But to leave the trap, we must first recognize we're in one. Then we must awaken sufficiently to choose otherwise. But are we up to the task? Do we qualify to move on? What is an awakening? Well, let's find out, shall we? Because I'm the grumpy grandpa. Before we can leave the trap, we must first realize we're in one. But how do you recognize a prison when it's all you've ever known? Now, this is where spiritual awakening begins, not as a feel-good moment of enlightenment, but as a disorienting shift in perception, a crack in the facade, if you like, a glimpse behind the curtain. Something in us that begins to question everything we've been told about reality, about life, about death, and about what comes after. It can come through trauma, through meditation, through psychedelic experience, or through sudden inner knowing that seems to arrive from somewhere else. But however it comes, the awakening starts with a subtle, often painful intuition. Something about this place is wrong. It's just wrong. For me, it was the COVID madness. Now, I had intuitive glimpses of the prison before this, but COVID fully drew back the curtain. You start to see the repetition, the suffering, the manipulation, the emptiness behind government and society's promises, the lies behind the media. And then slowly you begin to remember something deeper, something ancient within yourself that knows you do not belong to this system. This is not just waking up to corruption or politics or media control. It is all of that, but there is much more to it. This is waking up to the reality itself, that the rules, the reincarnation cycle, the hierarchy of light and dark may be part of a construct, one that feeds off human energy, emotion, and consent, albeit obtained deceptively. To awaken spiritually in this context means to see the bars of the soul's cage, and then begin the work of unlearning everything that previously kept you from seeing them. The next obvious question then becomes, what do we do with this realization? So you've seen the trap, you felt it in your bones, that this place, this cycle isn't what we were told. We've been lied to. What do I do with this knowledge? According to Isabella, this is where the true journey begins, not in escaping outwardly so much, but in turning inward. Because the trap isn't just external, it's been internalized. The programming lives in us, in our subconscious. The agreements we've made, often unconsciously, are bound to our very soul's essence. And so according to Green, the first step towards liberation is to reclaim our sovereignty. And sovereignty means knowing that we are not property, not a subject of any spiritual hierarchy, not a pawn in someone else's cosmic game. It means revoking consent, consciously and clearly, from all systems, entities, or agreements that do not serve our highest interest. And you don't do this through fear, but through clarity, through stillness, and through intention. Now that's an important word to understand in this context. We do this with true purpose and with a goal in mind, not mindlessly or automatic, like people might do in robotically repeating a mantra, but with conscious intent. Green suggests practical spiritual steps like quietening the mind, connecting to source directly, not through intermediaries, strengthening the energy field, removing attachments, and above all, preparing the soul to choose differently at the moment of death. Because in Green's view, when that moment comes, we must be ready to bypass the light trap, ready to ignore the false guides, ready to follow the inner compass that leads not to another life inside this cage, but to a higher path altogether. This preparation, this awareness begins now by rewriting the soul's script or programming. You begin to modify the internal code. Liberation from the trap isn't just an idea, it's a practice. In leaving the trap, Green outlines several key tools to help the awakened soul begin reclaiming its freedom, not just at death, but here in life. And it begins now. It begins with a revision of belief. It's not where you're at, it's what you believe. Remember that? Because beliefs are more than thoughts. They're energetic contracts. And some of the most dangerous are the ones we've been taught to consider sacred, such as the belief that suffering is necessary for growth. Now, I looked at this previously in another episode, trying to reconcile suffering with the source entity's need to experience. And this is not easy to navigate. But maybe, as Green suggests, it's a lie. And the belief that we must reincarnate to evolve, and the belief that external beings or systems have authority over our spiritual fate. Green challenges these core assumptions. She asks us to consider that these beliefs may not have originated from source, but from the very system designed to keep us looping. Loopy people, looping along, loop after loop. From there, the work becomes energetic, practical and conscious. Green offers several techniques to help dissolve attachments and prepare the soul for autonomy, such as contract revocation, speaking aloud or writing clear, sovereign statements that revoke consent to any soul agreements made under deception or duress. These often begin with phrases like, "I do not consent," or "I reclaim my sovereignty from." Then there's direct connection to source, bypassing intermediaries. This is vitally important. No guides, archangels, or ascendant masters. Instead, cultivating a pure connection with the original source of all that is, beyond the false light matrix. Trust no one. Then there's energy field strengthening. Practices such as grounding, shielding, and clearing your energies. This includes visualizations of auric integrity, or calling back fragments of the soul lost through trauma or past lifetimes. Now, I know this sounds new agey, but remember, we are fundamentally energetic beings. So when seen in that context, it doesn't sound so far-fetched. Then there is death time preparation, training the mind and soul to stay lucid at the moment of passing. Green recommends setting the clear intent, I will not go into the light. I will not follow any being who appears to guide me. I will wait. I will choose from my own inner knowing. And this is important because it's often reported that when we pass over, there is a time of confusion where entities take advantage of that turmoil. And then finally, dream work and astral discernment. Many traps appear in dreams and astral states. Green emphasizes dream journaling, symbol decoding, and practicing sovereignty even while asleep to condition or reprogram the soul's responses. Now this for me is the difficult bit. I struggle with this. It's not often that I can remember my dreams, let alone journal them. Now we need to understand that these are not just rituals. They're declarations of awareness, of readiness. Each act chips away at the illusion, calling our essence back from the layers of distortion that have built up over literally lifetimes. But as Green makes clear, this work is not about fear. So many are controlled by this corrosive emotion. It's about freedom. It's about becoming so clear in your own divine authority that when the moment comes, whether in sleep, in death, or in life, you will know what to do. You will choose, and you will choose from a place that no longer belongs to the trap, but from a place of knowing. This is what the preparation is all about. The idea of rewriting the internal code or programming is not new. To break the trap, Isabella urges us to revise our beliefs, not casually, not intellectually, but at the subconscious level, where reality is actually written, where our programming lies. And it's going to take time and effort. This doesn't come easy. This approach may sound mysterious and enigmatic, but it is actually grounded in science and echoed in the teachings of researchers and visionaries like Drs. Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza. I've studied their work for some time now, and I'm familiar with their processes. In The Biology of Belief, Lipton shows that our cells, that's our biology, don't respond directly to the world. They respond to our perceptions of the world. What we believe, we biologically reinforce. It's called epigenetics. Now, can you see how important belief is and why I emphasize it constantly? Here, Bruce Lipton shows us that our perceptions, that's our beliefs, shape not just our experiences, but even our biology itself. That consciousness governs form. And suddenly, the words of Jesus from Matthew 17:20 take on a whole new meaning. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Now, he knew a thing or two, did Jesus. Was he speaking metaphorically, or was he pointing to a far deeper truth? That belief is the key to reshaping reality itself. That if we could learn to override the programming, the limitations instilled in us by the system, we could become the architects of our own liberation. Now, the Archons might control perception, but what happens when perception awakens? And this isn't the only time Jesus pointed to belief as the source of transformation. Over and over in the gospel, he tells the people that have been healed, your faith has made you whole. Not I healed you, not God healed you, but your faith, your inner certainty, your own energy realigned your body and your life. It's as if he was trying to show us the power is already within us, if we can just remember it. Now, there's the problem of the memory wipe again. Maybe that's the real secret the Archons fear most, why they have to hide our true power from us. Dispenza expands on this further. Our beliefs shape our electromagnetic field, our brain chemistry, even the coherence of our heart. And by rewiring these patterns through meditation, visualization, and focused intent, there's that word again, people have healed illnesses, overcome trauma, and transformed their lives. Isabella Green takes this same principle, belief shapes reality, and applies it beyond the body, beyond this life, into the realm of the soul. She is basically asking, if belief governs biology, could it also govern the afterlife? Could it dictate what happens to us when we die? And she proposes yes. In her view, the trap works not through force, but through consent. And that consent is encoded in the subconscious. Now, this does differ from the Farsight Institute's view, where force is involved. But even that might only work because we unconsciously give our consent. And what Green is suggesting is, if we believe we must reincarnate, we will. If we believe we must follow the light, we will. If we believe we are sinners in need of judgment, that's what we'll meet. And if we believe in external salvation, well, we give away our power. Reprogramming these beliefs then becomes an act of deep spiritual revolution. It means withdrawing energy from the system we never truly chose and planting new commands in the soil of the subconscious like, I am sovereign, I do not consent, I return to source by my own path, thank you very much. This is not just affirmation, it's instruction to the body, to the field, and to the soul itself. Hopefully we've glimpsed the edges of the trap. We've felt the tug of old beliefs dissolving, and we've begun to understand that freedom isn't granted, it's claimed from within. Isabella Green's Leaving the Trap lays the foundation. It shows a map of the soul's prison, the patterns that keep us bound, and the tools to break free. But what happens after the trap is left behind? In her second book, Beyond the Trap, Green takes us further. She explores what exists outside the matrix, beyond the light, beyond reincarnation, beyond the limited framework we've inherited from religion, New Age teachings, and distorted spiritual hierarchies. This is not just a journey of escape, it's a journey of return, but a return to the true self, to the source, to a level of consciousness we were perhaps never meant to forget. In the next episode, we'll dive into these next level revelations, like multidimensional awareness, spiritual navigation after death, and the blueprint of the soul's original sovereignty. We'll circumvent the illusion of karma, bypass the false heavens, and into the deeper question. If the trap is not our home, then what is? So join me the next time as we go beyond the trap.